It was a quiet summer night in Riverside, a small town in America. Three close friends, Ethan, Emily, and Sophia, were returning from a long road trip. The road stretched empty under the dim glow of the moon, their car cutting through the silence of the countryside. Emily, tired and hungry, asked Ethan if they could stop somewhere for food. Ethan agreed, mentioning a small roadside diner about 15 minutes ahead. Sophia smiled, relieved, and the three of them continued on their way. But as they drove, their attention was drawn to something unusual. On top of a hill stood an abandoned mansion, its windows shattered, its gates rusted and open as if inviting them inside. The place looked lifeless, yet somehow, strangely alive. Sophia admitted that the mansion gave her chills, and Ethan joked that every small town had a creepy house like this. But Emily couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching them from the upstairs window. At the diner, they laughed, tried to ignore it, but the thought of the mansion kept returning. The old waitress overheard their conversation and gave them a stern warning that no one who entered that mansion ever came back the same. The friends laughed it off, but curiosity had already taken root in their minds. Later that night, instead of going straight home, Ethan slowed the car as they passed the hill. The mansion loomed in the distance, covered in shadows, its broken roof and cracked walls lit eerily by the moonlight. Against Emily's protests, they decided to stop. They parked the car and walked up the gravel path, every crunch of their shoes echoing unnaturally loud in the silence. The mansion was far more intimidating up close. The wooden porch groaned under their weight, as if warning them not to enter. Still, they pushed the heavy door open. Inside, the smell of rotting wood and mildew hit them immediately. Their flashlights illuminated peeling wallpaper, broken furniture, and shattered glass across the floor. Then came the whisper. A faint, distorted voice that seemed to come from the walls themselves. It was saying just one word: leave. Emily froze in place. Her eyes widened, but she told herself it must have been the wind. Ethan tried to laugh, but his hands shook as he gripped the flashlight tighter. They pressed on, their footsteps echoing through the hollow corridors. Suddenly, a loud slam echoed from upstairs. A door had shut violently on its own. The girls screamed, panic setting in. They turned to run back to the front door, but the doorway they had entered from was gone. In its place stood a solid, unbroken wall. The air grew freezing cold. Their breath turned visible, and the whispers returned, louder this time, overlapping, dozens of voices filling the mansion all at once. Then, at the top of the grand staircase, a figure appeared. A woman in a torn, faded white dress, her face pale, her eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. Her presence was suffocating, her silence louder than the voices themselves. She slowly raised her arm, pointing at the intruders, her expression twisted in anger. The flashlights in the friends' hands began to flicker, and then died completely. The mansion sank into complete darkness. The whispers grew into screams, and the last sound to break the night was Sophia's terrified cry. And then, silence. The next morning, the mansion stood as it always had, empty and broken. Nothing inside suggested that anyone had been there. But outside, in the driveway, the car still waited, its doors wide open, its seats empty. The three friends were never seen again.